All right, welcome in to the Pharmacist and the Photog Games, Grooves, and Grub. I am the Pharmacist Dion Spencer alongside my co-host Steve Moss, the Photog. I know last week when we recorded, I said I was going to be a little more put together this week. And
Maybe
as
just a smidge.
as Maury Povich would say, the tests have determined that was a lie. I've got some notes.
Want to pick on
I've
Maury?
got some notes scribbled down here, but I don't know how coherent I will be as we move forward. And I don't even really know where we're going to start. We didn't have anything this week from a sports standpoint that was the centerpiece event.
I think we've hit that point in summer
Yeah,
where, unless something terrible happens, I
Right.
think we're probably good until right up until August when football practice really cranks up.
right. Because I'm a golf nerd, so I'm excited about the next few weeks with
True.
with the Open and that kind of thing. But I realize that's a pretty niche market, so I may be on an island there. But we'll talk a little bit about some golf. We've
May
got
not be.
a few things, but
Not with me anyway,
I
'cause
guess
I love the game.
right. I guess we could start with we had a handful of NBA still lingering notes, given all the trades and things that are going on and signings, and I had jotted down a few things. Devin Booker, Kentucky alum with the Phoenix Suns, he signed a 2-year, $150 million contract to
After you were like, get me out of here.
yeah. I can't believe I guess it just comes down to money talks and
Well, he wants to play with Kobe Bryant.
yeah, sure.
That's what it is.
I was kind of surprised that he didn't force the issue a little bit. Who knows? Maybe there's something going on behind the scenes that he feels good about.
He is the mayor of Phoenix.
Yeah, I mean he's got to be one of the most popular people in
think.
Phoenix for sure, and he's the man there. So I mean, some players, that's enough to stroke their ego and make a lot of money and be the man. I mean, it's worked for James Harden for years. With really nothing to show for it.
I was going to say guys like that steal money.
Yeah, I mean
Joel Embiid, I'm looking at you.
I mean, even Joel
Ben
Embiid
Simmons.
can't say he's put up the kind of numbers that even Harden has put up over the years.
True.
Another big deal that got signed this week was Chet Holmgren with the Oklahoma City Thunder signed a 5-year. It's the rookie max, basically 5-year, $250 million fully guaranteed contract. And that was those two words, the fully guaranteed. That was the key for me, given he's a stick man.
Well, we've discussed this before too. Big men in that league tend to, I mean, I'm not trying to jinx anybody, but
Right.
there's a long history of big men who have leg problems because they are so tall.
Well, especially when you're 7 foot tall and you weigh about 200 pounds. I mean,
Yeah. But he's got guys. He's got 4 other guys out there who take some of that pressure off.
Yeah.
Especially when you've got SGA out there kind of running things. There's not a lot that they ask him to do other than to rebound and occasionally, make a jump shot here or there. He's a good player.
it's
You
a
know,
lot
he
of
had
money
of
just
height.
to get an occasional
Yeah.
jump shot out of a guy. But
Yeah, maybe that's a little.
kudos to both him and his agent for engineering.
There's a lot of money tied up between those two dudes.
Yeah, and I've only been kind of vaguely. There's some new luxury tax things that are getting implemented in the NBA, and I was reading about how the Thunder are already past what they call the first apron. I don't even really know what that means. They're approaching the second apron. They've got enough young guys that I think they've got another season or two with the
Then they're gonna have to
core,
start moving
and
people.
then it's going to get
Like-
interesting.
Jalen Williams, he's going to command a lot of money because
Right.
he had a hell of a year this year.
Yeah.
And they're kind of the Batman Robin scene in the NBA now with,
Yeah.
with SGA and Williams playing off of him. Yeah, I mean, and they've got all these draft picks.
Yeah, even
What
guys
a-
like Case and Wallace are going to have to at some point going to have to say, "Look, I
feel
could play
bad.
a
I
bigger
think-
role
I
somewhere
think somebody
else."
like Case and Wallace is going to be a casualty at some point.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, they're going to have to look to move players like him who have some value to other teams in the league.
Yeah.
and get in return possibly young players on rookie deals who can contribute in much the same way that Case and Wallace has the first couple years. It's I'm sure the guys over in Boston are probably sitting around saying, yeah, we've been there. We know what you're looking at.
He's collateral damage.
Yeah.
Those guys who he's good enough to be in the starting lineup, but he's not good enough to command that kind of a salary.
Yeah. Other contracts, one interesting contract that didn't get signed this week was Jokic with the Nuggets.
Yeah, he said he didn't want to re-up.
Yeah, he turned down a 3-year, $212 million extension.
So to me, that sounds like I'm going to play out the string and then see what happens after that.
Well, he's eligible in 2026 to sign a 4-year deal worth nearly $300 million.
Kind of what Shai Gilgeous-Alexander did.
Right.
Instead of waiting a year and signing that big whopping $380 million deal, he signed the 4-year deal worth what? $280. Yeah. So money in hand, plus he gets that contract clock ticking again, so that in 4 years instead of 5, he's up for something bigger.
Yeah, which, if the Thunder were to turn around and repeat next year, he could probably parlay that into something even bigger.
Sure.
I saw an interesting article today that was talking about the most expensive NBA rosters leading into this coming season. And honestly, the 3 teams that were at the top kind of shocked me, especially with all the moves that have been made. Number 1 was Cleveland.
Wow.
They were the most expensive roster coming into this season.
Well, and Kevin Love just signed with somebody else recently, like within the last couple
But, I mean,
days.
they've got Evan Mobley, Donovan Mitchell, Darius Garland, Jarrett Allen, and then they still owe an 8-figure contract to Lonzo Ball.
I
got no words for that.
My mama always said, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say it. So that's what I'm doing.
I think, was it Monk that embarrassed Lonzo Ball in the NCAA tournament that time with UCLA? I think it was Monk who went off.
Well, and truth be told, Ball got them in Rupp Arena, if you'll remember.
Yeah.
But Kentucky got them back when it counted the most.
When it counted. That's right. Number 2 on that most expensive NBA roster list was the Phoenix Suns.
Not surprised.
Devin Booker,
yeah.
With a lot of money being owed to him. But the big kicker for them is they owe a crap ton of money to Bradley Beal. And that's one of the biggest large contract busts, I think, in NBA history.
And I never really understood the move for Phoenix to go out and grab him because
for that kind of money.
Yeah, because you essentially have kind of the same player in Devin Booker. I don't know. That's why I'm not a general manager in the NBA. So
Number 3 on that list was the Boston Celtics.
Yeah, I can see that. They got some
old
guys.
They got Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and Derek White. So even after losing Jrue Holiday, Kristaps Porzingis, and then probably Al Horford, which he's been linked this week to the Warriors.
Good Lord, how many more years does he have?
Right. I mean, it's like they were talking about the teams that he could potentially play for, or he's mulling retirement. And I thought, well, then why would the Warriors want him? Because at this point, the Warriors are kind of looking like LeBron and the Lakers in that they're just bringing in all these, you were good at one point, old guys.
Right.
And can you really – I don't know. I still feel like Steph Curry has enough left in his game. If they brought the right younger players in, they could maybe make one more run at it. But I don't think Al Horford is the answer.
No. He's approaching 40.
Yeah.
And Steph Curry is such a cerebral player. In addition to, he's probably one of the 3 best shooters from range that the league has ever seen. But he's also such a smart player that he knows his limitations.
Yeah.
And I think he's good enough and smart enough that he can work around the age thing for a couple more years.
Yeah,
anyway.
if they had the right,
unless he gets injured, and he's shown some signs of being nicked up here and there.
Yeah, I think if they were to put the right guys around him, but at least what seems to be floating around out there, I don't feel like they're working towards that right now. Yeah,
because the young guys they come into the league and they're gone. They're just not that good.
Right. It's
on average.
Yeah. Yeah, I can look at the rosters all over the league, and I feel like I watch a lot of college basketball. But I can look at these NBA rosters all over the league, and I look down, and once you get beyond 3-4 guys in the starting five, I'm like, who is that? Where did he play? Never heard of him, kind of thing. And that's, that just goes to show you, one, the talent level that's out there from a basketball standpoint, and just two, how difficult it is to make it in the NBA, given the roster sizes and the number of teams. So, also NBA wise, kind of ties into UK stuff too. We've been watching what's happening with the former UK players, and when we got together a week and a half ago, Jackson Robinson hadn't been signed, but now he has signed with Cleveland.
Speaking of,
so I guess if they get rid of some of these expensive players, maybe they hope Jackson Robinson can come in and provide them some value.
Yeah, I thought originally it was reported that he signed one of those weird two-way deals or something, and what I read today was he just signed a free agent deal. So I don't know.
So I mean,
but all he wants is a shot.
Yeah,
that's all anybody can ask for, is a chance to make it, and he's going to get his chance. There's quite a few of those UK guys playing in the summer league, so Jackson will be one of them, I'm sure.
Yeah, Lamont Butler's he signed with the Atlanta Hawks. I haven't checked any rosters to see. I mean, I'm assuming he's playing in the summer. I intended to kind of look at some of these games. I don't even know if they've really got going yet. I think there's a few have been played.
They got going over the weekend.
But Kobe Brea, we had him on. He's on a two-way contract with Phoenix, which I think the two-way means he'll bump up and back and forth between the NBA and the G League. Andrew Carr signed an Exhibit 10 contract with the Trailblazers, and I had no idea what that was. I was like, an Exhibit 10, turns out that is a league minimum 1 year deal. It didn't really say much about going back and forth between the G League and the NBA, but I'm assuming it probably has to have something that works like that, because I can't see Carr just getting a straight up 1 year deal with the Trailblazers without having the potential to go play. I did read that some of those deals can be terminated prior to the season starting with no money out. So he's got to get in there and prove himself, I think, pretty quickly. Otherwise he'll get cut, and he'll need to learn to speak another language when he goes overseas.
But again, he'll make some money somewhere, because he's 6'10", 6'11". There aren't many of those dudes walking around on the planet.
Yeah, I mean, there's several UK players just this week. We saw a handful of them changing teams in Europe and re-upping deals. And so some of these guys have done well overseas. They've made good money, and, they're still not having to go in and work a real job like some of us. They're still getting to shoot ball for a living, so that's pretty cool.
Bouncing a ball.
Yeah, I mean, I think Kyle Wiltshire, he made the comment that he's been wherever he is, Italy maybe. He's been somewhere for so long that he's now annoyed by all of the tourists because he feels like a local. And he said the tourists are annoying.
Take advantage of the food.
Yeah, no kidding.
Especially if you're in Italy. Did you see who made the cover, or who's going to be on the cover of NBA 2K?
Yeah,
26.
We talked about that a little bit. Shay's on there.
I think that's very cool.
Yeah, pretty
especially
awesome
for a guy his age, 26.
Yeah,
because he still plays video games. Well, I should walk that back. SGA is a family guy, although I'm sure he plays video games, because they all do.
That age especially. I mean, I've got enough friends who are close to my age in their 50s that play games. Yeah, I don't. I played some. I mean, the most recent, the most technologically advanced gaming system I ever had was a PlayStation 2. I think, and I don't know where we are now, but it's definitely advanced beyond that.
6, I think.
Yeah, I played a lot of Tiger Woods golf.
Oh, that's that's one of the best video games that was ever made.
Yeah, and I played it on the dummy mode mostly. We grew up in the era of the Atari, which was a joystick and a fire button.
I had Pong.
Yeah. So when you handed me a video game that had a controller that every finger was responsible for
Yeah.
a button, that was beyond my skill set. At that point, I couldn't. I mean, and,
Hit the B button,
when I
hit
got
the
it,
B
I was
button.
30 when I got that game, and
Yeah.
my wife got it for me, and I tried to play Madden, and I just couldn't. Make it work like I wanted to.
Yeah.
But these kids now, they can do it, and it's
nuts.
pretty cool that SGA is going to be on the cover of that.
Agreed.
Hopefully, I don't believe there is any sort of like curse associated with the NBA game like there has been for Madden.
Yeah, I don't think there is.
I hope not, because we
that would be bad.
don't need that. Now, I did, even though I'm not a gamer, I saw that for the first time in like however many years, EA Sports is bringing back the college basketball.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty cool. There's going to be opportunity to play. I'm assuming I don't know how it works, but some pretty legendary Kentucky teams you'd be able to
You would think.
put on the screen. That's pretty cool. We got a kick out of today talking about the UK kicker,
Punter.
the punter. Yeah.
Aiden LaRosse is his name.
You probably know a little bit more about this than I do.
Well, so yeah, the college football game, I assume, is out. Again, we're not gamers, so I couldn't tell you when the thing came out. But as soon as these guys come to camp, they start learning what their player evaluation is on the game. And Kentucky obviously is in the game.
Yeah.
And Aiden LaRosse, a punter from South Africa, got a rating of 0
On the toughness scale.
Yeah, and so everybody's going like, this guy played rugby in South Africa. How is he getting a goose egg? Right. And he should embrace it. He should play it up. But so basically he's been. People are giving him a hard time online because he has a player rating of 0. Yeah. Now he is a punter. But as I told you, if you're a Division I player on scholarship, which he is, and you put on a helmet and you start, which he does, you got to get at least a 50.
You would think.
You're on the field.
In the SEC. You're going to get.
I don't care one way or the other. I can't wait till media day happens in Lexington, because I know he's going to get asked that question so many times, and I hope that he just plays it up and he becomes a headhunter out there on the
fight
field.
Somebody.
Yeah. Well, don't get kicked out of a game and don't get hurt, because he is a highly rated punter.
Yeah. I want to see him go Pat
He is a
McAfee
punter.
on somebody and hit somebody. That's
Steve Spurrier. As Steve Spurrier once said, Kentucky's got a good punter.
Yeah, I mean, we've needed good punters over the years. I mean, that's a lot of schools, they rely on walk-ons and non-scholarship players to fill out those roles. But I think at Kentucky, I feel like they need to offer scholarship to the best punters they can find.
Yeah, because they punt a lot.
We punt a lot, and we need those guys to be able to flip the script in some of these games. We need a good one this year, that's for sure. Other UK sports figures that we've keeping an eye on this week, the Kentucky Hall of Fame, Sports Hall of Fame, announced their class, and two pretty well-known names from UK got accepted or got inducted or will be inducted.
Yep.
Randall Cobb.
Yep.
Football
Deserving.
player. Yeah, very deserving. All-American couple different times at UK. Still holds the SEC and University of Kentucky record for all-purpose yards in a season,
Yep.
as well as the UK record for single-season touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
Then went on to have a very successful
13 years
NFL
in the league.
career. Yeah, 7,600 yards receiving, 54 touchdowns.
He's getting paid.
Yeah, a lot of those coming from Aaron Rodgers.
Somebody had to throw him the ball.
Yeah. So, the dude, I mean, he was
Lynn Bowden before Lynn Bowden,
Right.
because, he was kind of a triple threat guy, borrowing an overused phrase from basketball people. But, he played quarterback when they needed him to. He played in the slot because he's not the biggest dude in the world. He returned kicks. and he's the ultimate locker room guy. So yeah, he is a
man, damn it, he's good looking too. I mean,
he's a nice looking guy.
He was pretty popular.
And the thing
in
is,
that realm.
He played football, high school football there in Alcoa, which is a suburb of Knoxville in Tennessee. Just kind of was like, and then he comes back to Burnham.
Yeah, they got a lot of talent in Tennessee, so I guess he didn't seem to tick a lot of boxes for them. But
and I appreciate Tayshaun Prince is the other one going in with the UK connection. I actually was on that committee, on that board, the Kentucky Sports Hall of Fame. When you go in Freedom Hall and you used to see those bronze stars on the wall, those are the original members of the Kentucky. It used to be the Athletic Hall of Fame. Now it's a Sports Hall of Fame, and he's a worthy inductee, as is Tayshaun.
Yeah. Tayshaun, SEC Player of the Year 2001, was on 3 University of Kentucky Sweet 16 teams, 2-time All-American. Was it the North Carolina game that
he opened the game with 5
3-pointers?
And I just literally looked at that video yesterday.
Yeah.
Because we were talking about him going into the hall in the office. So I pulled up the video that I shot, and the first one was a like toe on the line.
Yeah.
Then there were a couple in the corner, but the fifth one, they got it. He brought the ball across half court, and he literally just went up from there because he knew, heat check and all, he knew it was going in. But if you look, his foot is only about that far outside of the jump circle at midcourt.
Yeah,
that thing was
long. It was a whoever you want to compare it to. It was a Steph Curry. Yeah. It was a Caitlin Clark. It was deep.
And the crowd, as memory serves, that was one of the loudest moments in Rupp Arena.
Yeah, that game was pretty incredible. Yeah. But again, much like Randall Cobb.
That was 2001.
Yeah.
And I looked at that North Carolina team, man. They were terrible. Matt Doherty was a coach. He got fired.
Yeah,
they were terrible.
Yeah,
but
hopefully they'll bring a comparable team to face Kentucky this year.
I think they will.
But Tayshaun, much like Randall, who went on to the NFL and had a successful career. Tayshaun, 14 years in the NBA, won a ring in 2004 with the Pistons.
Will forever be remembered for that playoff block. When he chased down Reggie Miller, who thought he had a wide open layup, and Tayshaun came out of nowhere and swiped it off the glass.
That's worth
legendary.
Worth looking up. If you haven't seen that, you need to pull that video up because that's one of the greatest. When you look at the time and the environment in which it took place, that's huge.
He busted
play.
his tail to get back down the court.
But Tayshaun's currently the vice president of basketball affairs with the Memphis Grizzlies, so he's still got his foot in the game a little bit. What else? We got anything else basketball wise?
No, but I was going to ask that we go back to UK football. They got a commitment from a quarterback, Matt Ponatoski, out of Cincinnati Moeller. And if you know anything about high school football in Cincinnati, Moeller is a powerhouse.
Yeah.
They're a Catholic school. They're a powerhouse. Ken Griffey Jr. played baseball there. They've turned out quite a few top-notch prospects. And he'll be going into his senior year. And he chose Kentucky over Alabama, Oregon, and Arkansas. You're going, why Arkansas? Well, he's also a baseball player.
Right. Probably
arguably
a better baseball player than he is football player,
and is going to play both sports at UK. And there have been some guys who've come through over the last 10 years since Stoops has been there, who have said they wanted to play baseball or
run track,
or whatever, and it's never really materialized.
Yeah.
So I think because he's a highly rated guy, he's a 4-star. Went to the Elite 11 camp. I think UK baseball and football had to work together on the NIL and the money. So I am pretty sure if he holds to his commitment, he'll play both sports at Kentucky.
Yeah.
And I've heard people say that as soon as he walks on campus, he will compete for a starting job on the football side.
Which, is it kind of interesting because, we've got Cutter Bowley and a couple other guys who we've just kind of assumed we're gonna work their way in. But it's kind of hard to, like you said, Moeller they're a powerhouse in the high school football realm. So for him to do what he did,
4,000 yards, 56 touchdowns, and only 3 interceptions.
Yeah, he was the Ohio Player of the Year
in both sports.
In both sports, yeah. So the kid's, he's got some game, that's for sure. And I when it comes to thinking about him playing both sports, like you said, we've had players come through in the past we've had a couple of players who wanted to come here and couldn't get here because they wanted to play 2 sports. And I think, rumor has always said that Stoops shut that down. I kind of have to think that at this point, Stoops is willing to try about whatever he can. Of course, who knows if this season goes like I kind of think it might. Ponatoski might be playing for somebody else if he holds to his commitment. I don't know. I mean, I'd like to think that maybe we can win a few that we shouldn't this year, and Stoops might get a chance to coach this kid.
I don't think Stoops is going anywhere because he's got too big of a buyout.
Yeah, you might be
and
right.
The university or the athletic department just had to borrow millions of dollars from the school, which they've never had to do, to pay all of the House versus NCAA and to get a jump start on paying players who, by the way, got their first checks a week ago.
Oh, really?
Which is July 1st was when
fiscal year kicks in.
and these guys and women all getting paid now.
Awesome. Good for them. So anyway, other sports news going on here in our neck of the woods anyway is over in Louisville, starting tomorrow actually, is the first legitimate round of the ISCO Championship. It is a PGA Tour, what they call, I guess, opposite field.
It's an alternate event. It's called an alternate event. And basically what that means is whoever wins the ISCO does not get the automatic invitation into the Masters.
Right.
Which is unfortunate.
Yeah.
But they're playing the Scottish Open in preparation for the Open.
Right.
And that's where everybody is.
So, yeah, I mean, if you're the average golf fan and you pull up the field for the ISCO Championship in Louisville, you're going to be like, who? I mean, I'm a golf nerd, and there's 144 players in the field. There are 25 of them that myself as a golf nerd recognize the names of.
And there's 50 that came in from the DP World Tour.
Right.
And those are the guys playing in Europe.
Yeah. Not a single player in the world golf ranking top 50 is playing in Louisville this week. Now, this tournament, to kind of backtrack a little bit, has been played in the greater Lexington area for the last 6 years over at Champion Trace. And, of course, it had to go through basically 2 years of COVID. But the interest was just never there. There were never any crowds there.
Well, and I was going to say our buddy Josh Teeter from Lexington, who is currently on the Corn Ferry, number 8, by the way. He's going to get his card again.
Awesome.
He's number 8 right now on the money list on the Corn Ferry. They take the top 25. Anyway, Josh Teeter always got an exemption to play in the what used to be called the Barbasol, now called the ISCO. And I just felt so bad for Josh because he had to carry that tournament. Yeah. If he didn't make the cut and play on Saturday and Sunday, I mean, the place was, there wasn't really anybody there. Yeah. And you knew that because wherever Josh was, there was the largest gallery.
Right.
And to his credit, he's such a class guy. He volunteered basically to carry that tournament and be the face of it when it was in Nicholasville.
Yeah.
Since 2018.
Yeah. So now it moves over to Louisville at Hurstbourne Country Club, which was established, I think, in the mid-'60s. And it's a really, really nice golf course.
Totally different
very
layout,
private.
Though,
Champions is a little different animal. Hurstbourne is what I guess most people would consider a parkland-style golf course. A lot of trees. It will be one of the shortest courses that the PGA caliber players face all year. It plays barely 7,000 yards. My oldest kid, as a member of we played there as a maybe a sophomore and junior in high school on the Scott County High School golf girls golf team. We played the Sacred Heart Invitational over there. Beautiful golf course, but I'm just going to tell you that I think the pros are going to eat this alive. I wouldn't be surprised if the winning score is not 30 plus under par.
Well, I was going to say, like, the lowest they went at Champions Trace was 26 under.
Yeah.
Last year, Harry Hall won it at 25 under.
Yeah.
They just brought that course to its knees.
So I mean, and Champions, definitely played longer than Hurstbourne will play. The I guess when you look at the style of the course, Hurstbourne does have a little bit more going for it in that it's because of the trees. It does have a lot of trees on the course, so it can tighten things up a little bit. So I mean, it's not going to be just one of those bomb and gouge
hitting
type
fairways
places.
Will be a premium.
So yeah, I mean, it's going to definitely need to be an accuracy type thing. But I just don't think this course is going to provide enough, obstacles to these guys. Because even though this field is not the cream of the crop in the PGA, these guys are still really good.
Yeah.
I mean, it's, when you look at some of the names, I mean, Jason Duffner, he's been a fixture on the PGA Tour. You got Emiliano Grillo, who just lost a playoff last week in the John Deere. J.B. Holmes, Kentucky guy, is playing, which I would love to see him play well. I mean, the guy's been through a brain tumor, for goodness sakes.
I was going to say, there are plenty of storylines for this event in Louisville. There were a few, but not very many.
Not as many in Lexington.
But you've got, again, Holmes, who's won 5 times on the tour, had the brain surgery, had won twice prior to the brain surgery, comes back and wins 3 more times after surgery. But then last year he only had 11 starts. This will be his first start since October because he's like, I don't want to be gone from my kids for 30 weeks out of the year.
Yeah.
But he did hint around that his game is coming around. So, and he's a guy who will just bomb the hell out of it.
Yeah.
I mean, he takes trees out of play.
Yeah, that's true.
That's
true.
You got the 5 players who all graduated from St. X over there in Louisville, which I think is very cool.
Yep,
that's got to
awesome.
be a PGA record.
I would think so.
And they're all in there on exemptions because they are local kids, but they're playing on their own tours. The Corn Ferry and even lower. And then you've got Teeter, who is going to get his tour card back. Unless the wheels just absolutely fall off. But, he's come close a couple of times to winning a PGA event. His best finish is 2nd. And it would just be so cool because he's 43
or 44, something like that.
He's winding down on the PGA event, and it would just be so cool if he just, was in contention on Sunday.
Yeah.
That would be so cool because that place would be electric.
Yeah, I mean,
it would be cool if he and JB were
in the mix.
Contention. Yeah.
I mean, I would love to see, of course, like we're saying, Josh is 43, 44. I'd like to see him just maintain that competitive edge for a few more years and squeak his way to the Champions Tour because I think the guy could make some noise on the Champions Tour, which would be pretty awesome.
And I think he feels the same way.
Yeah.
I think he understands his limitations on the tour. And if he can make it to 50 and still be very competitive, I think he's got a shot to really
I think you're right.
make some noise.
But I'll probably tune into that a little bit this weekend just because, having been to the course a few times, as a spectator watching my kid, it'll be kind of fun to watch. I do know that one thing that's kind of unusual about Hurstbourne Country Club is it's a 27-hole layout, but obviously they don't need that many for this event. But their standard 18-hole layout, the 18th hole is a par 3 that plays from an elevated tee over a road that enters into the parking lot, and the green sits down in front of this grandiose mansion of a clubhouse.
Right.
But for the ISCO,
it's very scenic from the tee.
Yeah, they have reversed the 9s for this championship.
So that's the 9.
So that par 3, they don't like to have PGA Championship events ending on a par 3. They want that risk reward of a of a par,
Yes.
long par 4 or a reachable par 5. So that's what they've done. The members' ninth hole will now become the 18th, which is a par 5, and it'll be reachable for sure. So you set it
Still
up
be-
to have eagles,
Yeah.
win the tournament kind of thing. So that'll be fun to watch. And like I said, there will be most eyes will be on the Scottish Open as the tune-up for the Open, because that's where all the big names are. But I'll probably be keeping an eye on both of them. But
It'll be on the Golf Channel around 4 o'clock. I think it goes 4 to 7 is their coverage.
So we'll be keeping an eye on that for sure.
Yeah.
Any other?
And one last shout out to Josh Teeter. He was recently inducted into the Kentucky Golf Hall of Fame.
Yep.
And he's a buddy, so I'm going to brag on him. I just think he's a great guy. He's a great golfer, obviously. I think he's ranked top 500 in the world. That's
impressive.
pretty damn good.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at how competitive golf is,
That's right.
and there are guys out there grinding on these mini tours. I'm personal friends with one who, he just needs to get hot at the right time kind of thing. And that's how golf is.
Yeah.
It's just getting on a roll and trying to make some cuts and cash a few checks. And
Yeah, if you make the cut, you make a heck of a living
Yeah.
on that tour.
yeah. So
That's the name of the game.
it's just so competitive.
Shoot par, make
But-
a couple $1,000,000.
Anyway, I think that's all the sports we got. We were discussing music and what we were going to talk about, and of course the big thing. Neither one of us have been to a concert in the last couple of weeks, but the big concert happened over the weekend, and that was
yeah.
of course the we're assuming the final, and I have to believe it was the final show for Ozzy Osbourne with Black Sabbath. Happened in Europe over the weekend, and
In his hometown of Birmingham,
yeah.
England. How cool is that?
Yeah, I mean it was pretty impressive, and I mean I haven't watched all the clips, but I've watched a good number of. It was a who's who of.
Well, and I told
musicians.
you it reminded me a lot of. Forgive me. The around the world three different places.
Oh yeah, like Live Aid.
Live Aid.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah.
I had it on the tip
Yeah.
of my tongue. Yeah, it kind of reminded me of Live Aid. Despite having all the logistic issues of satellite uplinks in London, in Washington D.C., and wherever else they were.
Yeah, the
South
technology has
Africa.
definitely
Yeah,
come
yeah,
a long
yeah.
way. Plus, but they were only in one location for.
But it was
for this.
just it was the sheer number of bands and then musicians that we know and love that just came together for him. Well, for Black Sabbath, all 4 of those guys, but mainly for Ozzy. Nobody got paid.
right.
This was all free work. Sharon Osbourne even, I think, has said she's going to out a band who demanded to be paid.
Right,
And she
I've
was
heard
like,
that too.
You're not even playing. Get the heck out.
Yeah,
But I wish it were live because I probably would have watched a lot of it.
Same.
But what I did see was fun.
Yeah, there were some great combinations. There were some like dream teams that got
Yeah.
put together because you brought it to my attention. I had actually kind of forgotten that it was going on this weekend, and I got a text from you about one of the all-star bands that got put together for this that you were pretty pumped about.
Yeah, I mean because Morello,
Tom Morello.
Tom Morello, thank you, from Rage Against the Machine, he was basically the music choreographer, the music conductor for this thing. So he had 2 separate all-star bands he called A Team and B Team. But basically, he came out with Nuno Betancourt from Extreme, who I think the world of as a guitar player. He came out with him, and Jakey Lee played. Jakey Lee played with Ozzy. I think he was probably his 3rd guy after Randy Rose. But, Jakey Lee just recently was shot twice in Las Vegas. This may have been his first public appearance since being shot because he even joked about it afterwards.
Yeah,
Then you
Chad
had
Smith.
Pardon?
Chad Smith was
Chad
part of that
Smith
group?
was a drummer
Yeah,
from the Red Hot Chili Peppers. It was just, if you go down the list of the names, like Billy Corgan from the Pumpkins and KK Downing from Judas Priest.
Sammy Hagar.
Sammy Hagar was not good.
I thought Sammy was pretty
Really?
awesome. The dude is 77 years old.
He is.
So
he was just a hair slow and a little out of tune.
I felt
But
like,
I'm a Hagar because I'm a Van Halen fan.
yeah, well, true. I mean, I felt like, once Hagar joined Van Halen, it should have been called something else because it's just not the same band. But I felt like for 77 years old to get out there and do what he did, pretty impressive.
Vernon Reed from Living Color was out there.
I haven't seen that. I haven't seen
gosh,
that.
I'm like,
okay.
that's Vernon Reed.
Yeah, that's
Rudy Sarzo, who was one of Ozzy's bass players, was out there. Speaking of 70-year-olds, Steven Tyler was the one I texted you about because they went into a Led Zeppelin song, and I was like,
Whole Lot of Love?
They,
Is that what it was? Yeah.
He nailed it.
Yeah.
And he called it quits. They called it quits because he said that my voice can't take it anymore. Plus his feet are in really bad shape. But they nailed it.
Yeah, they crushed
that. Was
fantastic. Because that's what I had always heard was that Aerosmith had finished up. Because I know Steven Tyler's been in and out of rehab multiple times, but I had heard that this last tour got canceled because his voice just couldn't do it anymore.
But it sounded great.
And who knows, maybe that one song was all he had. But man, I'm telling you what, there haven't been many people attempt to cover Zeppelin tunes, especially ones as iconic as that.
A lot of love.
And Steven Tyler just absolutely crushed that.
Well, that was Tyler, Morello, Nuno Bettencourt, Rudy Sarzo, and Chad Smith on drums.
Yeah,
that was your band. And I would pay to see them every day of the year.
Yeah, that was, I immediately, when you text me that, like I said, I had forgotten that was even going on this weekend. And so I pulled that up and watched that video, and I thought, man, this is, it couldn't have been more diametrically opposed to Axl Rose and Guns N' Roses.
They were terrible.
Your voice is no different than any other muscle in your body. If you don't work it continuously, it's going to eventually fail.
Falsetto. He couldn't reach that note, so he had to sing falsetto.
I mean, he's, that's the reason guys like, even to an extent, Steven Tyler and Sammy Hagar and the guys from Metallica, they've continued to perform. They've never taken these just extended breaks. I mean, Axl Rose just vanished from the face of the earth for a decade and then expects to come back. And, he and Vince Neil from Motley Crue feel like they're still the same old guys. Well, there couldn't be further from the truth. They're terrible. But yeah, Axl just needs to hang it up. Guns N' Roses would be well served to go the route of, granted under different circumstances, but like Queen went out and said, wait a minute, Adam Lambert is the guy who can carry us forward. Guns N' Roses needs to find, if they want to continue, they need to find somebody else to sing these songs because Axl can't do it.
Yeah, I was really disappointed. I tried to watch, and then he got into the falsetto stuff, and I'm like, Bub, what has happened here? He's gotten heavy. He just doesn't move around, and his voice is just shot.
I mean, put him in
it could be all the screaming. Steven Tyler might be onto something there. Your voice can only take so much. Yeah. But I was pleasantly surprised. I even thought Ozzy at 70. What is he? 77? I think he's 77.
I thought Ozzy sounded great.
I did too. He's got Parkinson's. He can't stand. So to your point, I think Black Sabbath is done, and I think Ozzy is done.
How awesome was Geezer Butler? I mean, dude on the bass was insane.
Yeah, Tony Iommi was a little slow on the draw. But Bill Ward was good on drums. I was glad to see all four of them back together.
Geezer was on fire.
And we talked about this when I walked in tonight because you were playing some Black Sabbath. It's not like Sabbath is my first choice. You know what I mean?
Right.
I remember buying Paranoid, the album, when I was probably 15. And it was more for the cover, and I had heard about this band, Black Sabbath, how dark and, almost evil.
Yeah,
but
they were off limits.
Yeah,
at
for
that
a
age.
15-year-old.
Yeah.
And I loved it. There was, it's heavy.
Yeah.
Like you said, they are the original heavy metal band.
Yeah.
That everybody has borrowed from. But I thought the whole thing was great. 45,000 people were there. I have a friend who works for a music company in Nashville. She was there. I texted back and forth with her. She said it was fantastic.
Yeah.
She works for Garth Brooks, and I'm going, wait a minute. You're a Garth Brooks. You work for Garth Brooks, and you're a country music fan. She's like, I'm telling you. It was fantastic.
You had. I mean, I think music people understand when the opportunity arises to see something
Greatness.
legendary like that.
Mm-hmm.
If you have the opportunity to go do that, you go do that. I mean, I would have jumped at the chance.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just amazing. I mean,
Heck yeah.
Like we said, that if you haven't seen any of the clips, they brought Ozzy up out of the floor in a black throne. He was seated on a black throne, and he never got out of the chair because he physically can't. So he sang, but you could tell that he wanted to be up, moving around, but his body, has betrayed him at this point. But man, the dude sounded amazing.
Yeah,
sitting in that
really
chair.
did.
I was impressed because I was expecting the worst. I was expecting Vince Neil, Axl Rose, and I didn't get that. I mean, and to his credit,
thankfully.
I think guys like that, they know where their vocal limitations are too, and that's when they hold the mic out to the crowd. And they let the crowd sing that part that they can't get to, which, that's a showman for you. He knows how to do it. So, like you said, I wouldn't consider myself a giant Black Sabbath or Ozzy fan. I recognize their greatness, but that led us to we decided we were going to talk a little bit about our favorite Zeppelin, Sabbath or Ozzy songs. And I started listening to stuff, and I thought, oh yeah, I forgot about that one. I forgot about that one. Yeah. There's the obvious ones, and my list is kind of all over the place. I got a bunch of things written down here. We're definitely going to duplicate. We usually do top 5 on these things when we do them, and I'm all over the place. I can't.
Well, let me preface, if I may. I have seen the man live,
which is
awesome.
It was.
I can't remember if it was Blizzard of Oz.
That was his solo debut. Was Blizzard of Oz.
It was either on that tour or it was on the Bark at the Moon. No, Randy Rose was guitar player, so it was definitely Blizzard of Oz.
Yeah.
And I saw him at Rupp Arena in Lexington, and I went by myself because I'm like, first of all, it was that tour maybe a month prior that he allegedly bit the head off a bat. So I was like, okay, I'm familiar with Sabbath music, and I'm familiar with Ozzy, and I want to see what this spectacle's about. And Rat opened for them, and it was a good show. It was good. I was by myself. He didn't bite the head off a bat, but he did have 2 little people up on stage with buckets of blood and chicken, chicken parts, and they would throw it out on the crowd. So.
Did Mike Leach come on to talk about the possibility of taking a little person and tossing them over the line of scrimmage in short yardage situations?
But it was funny because they're up there running around kind of as his henchmen. It was a good show.
I mean, Ozzy was always, if he wasn't biting the head off a bat, he was snorting a line of ants out there with.
Some of these stories are absolutely incredible.
And
like the allegedly snorting a line of ants when they were sitting around a pool with Motley Crue on that tour.
And that made it into the movie. There were a lot of people that seemed to back that story up. So
Snorting a line of ants.
So anyway, let's talk about, I guess.
Okay,
I can't.
You're going 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I guess, but these. There are people who are Black Sabbath fans who would probably just rip us to shreds over what our choices are. Right. I'm just going by what gets me to turn the radio up. What gets me to turn the volume up and crank it. So I guess if I had to start with 5, I got some honorable mentions. We'll throw those out at the end. But I guess I could lead with a couple of honorable mentions. The Wizard, which was on their debut album.
Sabbath?
Yes.
Okay.
It's called The Wizard, and I think one of the reasons I kind of like that song is when I going back and listening to it again, it has some one of my favorite rock band of all time is Led Zeppelin. So The Wizard has some very Led Zeppelin-esque
Just
kind
the
of
name
orchestrations to it. Yeah, I mean, and Geezer Butler said it was based on Gandalf and Lord of the Rings and all that.
Wow.
But there were definitely some things in there that I could draw from and at least hear kind of Led Zeppelin influences. Because if you look back at that time frame, Led Zeppelin, when they first came out, for lack of a better term, they were considered heavy metal. The critics didn't know how to describe them, so they described them as heavy metal. Well, then Sabbath came along and we're like, wait a minute.
Hold my beer.
This is metal. So anyway, The Wizard is up there for me. I mean, it's got, good grief, it's got like harmonicas and all kinds of very melodic kind of stuff in it, like Zeppelin. Probably my other honorable mention would be Crazy Train, which was, on his debut. It was the debut solo single off of Blizzard of Oz. So I like that one a lot.
Okay.
But
I'm going to go honorable mention here. Mama, I'm Coming Home.
yeah, that's a good one.
That's Zakk Wylde taking over for Randy Rhoads. And it was Ozzy's only top 40 hit, obviously. I mean,
as a solo artist,
a lot of that stuff is not going to make top 40. And it was on the No More Tears album. So that would be my honorable mention. But number 5 for me will be Suicide Solution.
Very controversial song.
Very controversial. Ozzy said it was more about Bon Scott's death. Bon Scott, the former lead singer of AC/DC. And that's a Randy Rhoads special, obviously. So that was on Blizzard of Oz. Ozzy also hinted around that it might actually be about him.
Yeah, because he had lots of issues through the years.
You could claim that maybe he had a little mental health issue there for a while. Maybe still does. He obviously has health issues.
Biting the head off a bat.
But, so Suicide Solution is number 5.
Yeah. I had at 5 Black Sabbath, the title track, or at least the self-titled single off their debut album. Again, it was something that had never really been heard before. So when you have an album that's considered the first real heavy metal album, Black Sabbath was considered by Rolling Stone magazine to possibly be the first doom metal song of all time.
Yeah.
So, call that what you will. I'm not up on doom metal, death
Whatever
metal,
that is.
black metal, Norwegian death metal. I'm not up on all that, but Black Sabbath is definitely the originator or the spawn or the led to the spawning of a lot of those different genres. So Black Sabbath, number 5 for me.
So number 4 for me is going to be Iron Man. I think that's a song that, believe it or not, I think a lot of people know what it is because it's gotten a lot of play in Marvel movies because of Iron Man.
Yeah.
I mean, heck, my 7-year-old grandson loves the song because he's an Iron Man fan. But it was one of the first songs I think people really started going, okay, maybe they can put a song together that has a little bit of melody to it and is worthy of some airplay. So I'm going to go number 4, Iron Man.
Yeah, my number 4 honestly, when I heard it, I don't think I realized that the name of the song is Sweet Leaf. It's off Master of Reality. I don't even really know how to describe it, but if you hear it, you're going to be like, oh yeah, I know that song. Yeah. And it was one of those where I, again, honestly did not know the name of the song was Sweet Leaf, but it's got a very recognizable guitar riff that I enjoy. Turn it up every time it comes on. So that's where and I had Iron Man at 3. So
okay, well, 3 for me is going to be Crazy Train.
Yeah,
I think that's kind of an iconic rock song. Randy Rhoads became a household name in the rock business for that song specifically, but that album, Blizzard of Oz, and I can't imagine how many FM airplays that song got, because it was insanely popular, and everybody tries to duplicate the riff at the beginning of the song. So
and that song gets so much play in other realms. I mean, you can hear that.
You can hear it at a sporting event.
You hear the first couple of
that riff,
notes of it, and immediately what it is. So
I'll be honest, I learned that riff at home, because everybody loved the song, and it's not incredibly difficult. It's just very creative. It's one of those things, like if you walk into a music store, a kid's either, a kid who's never picked up a guitar is trying to play Smoke on the Water,
right,
or Crazy Train.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
3, Crazy Train.
All right, number 2 then. My 3 was Iron Man off of Paranoid. My number 2 was Paranoid, off of the same titled album, which honestly, I've got 3, I think, Black Sabbath albums of vinyl in my collection. I still don't have Paranoid. I could buy a brand new copy of it, but I'd still kind of like to find a decent older copy. And oddly enough, Paranoid was their only top 5 single,
right,
as Black Sabbath. And I read a cool article that Geezer Butler said basically they needed a 3-minute filler on that album, and he somebody came up with the riff, he came up with the lyrics really quick, and they said the first time that it was recorded, Ozzy was reading the lyrics off of a sheet.
That's crazy.
And there you have it. I mean, Paranoid is an iconic,
it is
very recognizable song.
Yep. Number 2 for me would be Bark at the Moon, from the same titled album. That's Jakey Lee making his first appearance as Ozzy's guitar player, after Randy Rhoads was killed in a plane crash, and then Zakk Wylde, I think, went out and did his own thing. Jakey Lee was next on the, and that's the thing about Ozzy, is he's really had some very talented young guys who've gone on to bigger and better things.
Definitely.
But yeah, Bark at the Moon, number 2.
All right, that leads me to my number 1, which is War Pigs. War Pigs is just, and there's probably, like I said, there will be Black Sabbath and Ozzy fans who would just rip that to shreds, but I love that song.
Generals gathered in their masses.
I mean, who has the balls to rhyme masses with masses? I mean, that's the opening 2 lines. Ozzy just says, "Screw it, I'm gonna make this
and
line
it's so
rhyme on itself."
The lyrics are so foreboding.
Yeah.
Like, okay, we're getting ready to war.
Yeah.
I mean, fight.
Just such a the way the song builds.
Yeah.
I also love the fact that there's been some incredible covers done of that song over the years. I mean, one of my favorite bands is Cake from the early 90s, and they've got an awesome version of that. And then the one that just blew me away was T-Pain. T-Pain has a version of War Pigs that will, if you have not listened to T-Pain's version of War Pigs,
do it right now.
Really, T-Pain's version of anything, because here's a guy who was the poster child for auto-tune. I mean, he basically built his career on an album that was really the first to max out auto-tune to its fullest. And who knew all this time that he had an incredible voice. It didn't need auto-tune. But anyway, T-Pain's version of War Pigs is absolutely incredible. Right. So, but I love the Sabbath version of it, obviously, since it was the first one. But that's my favorite Sabbath tune is War Pigs.
5 is going to be One is going to be Paranoid for me.
Yeah.
And again, it's just iconic. The riff, Tommy Iommi with his 2 plastic appendages on his fingers. I mean, there's not a lot you can say about these guys. I think they're finally getting a little bit of credit with, ironically, them going out
Yeah.
like they are. But
Well, I mean, and they're one of those bands too that, again, you've got a lot of bands over the years. We talked about Van Halen. Van Halen's one of the few examples where, outside of them and maybe AC/DC, you replace the lead singer and still have some pretty incredible level of success.
Right.
I would say AC/DC and Van Halen are the two examples of that very few other bands, if any, can live up to. I don't consider any Black Sabbath that does not have Ozzy Osbourne as Black Sabbath.
yeah,
To me, I listened to some stuff today, even on a playlist that had, I guess it was it Ronnie James Dio?
Ronnie James Dio was next.
I loved Ronnie James Dio.
Yeah.
He was very good.
Yeah.
They should have just called it something else. It was not Black Sabbath. It just has a completely different feel, a different sound, which I guess that's okay. But you take a band like Kiss, who over the years, you kept Gene and Paul in place, and you replaced Ace and Peter Criss. You're able to survive that.
Yeah, but if you take those two vocals out of there, those
Yeah.
two lead vocals.
Yeah, Kiss would have never
They're not
been
the
Kiss
same. You're right.
with somebody else leading
right.
the band.
You're right.
It just wouldn't have worked, and that's why for me Black Sabbath is only
Ozzy
Black
or
Sabbath
bust.
with Ozzy. So yeah. So anyway, that's pretty cool. I mean, I hope Ozzy. He's in his 70s.
I think he's 77.
Yeah. So I mean,
They, the four of those guys played War Pigs, NIB, Iron Man, and ended it with Paranoid.
and NIB is another one that I couldn't hardly
That's a heck
take
of
that
a-
off my list.
Even though it's only four songs, and Ozzy did 5 of his.
yeah.
But even though the original members only did the 4, I mean, that's a heck of a show, man.
Yeah,
That's a heck of a show.
That would have been. I mean, that would have been an all-timer for sure. So
and
the
these
people,
dudes are pushing 80.
that's the thing. I mean, I know how I
crazy.
feel after trying to work a little bit this weekend here in the disaster that is my house at 55 years old, and these guys in their 70s out there just crushing it and still sounding pretty damn good while they're
Yep.
doing it. That's pretty amazing. But
Glad I got to see it.
yeah, I'm jealous of that.
Shannon
that
bought
would've
me a sign to put in my game room. I might be old, but I saw all the cool bands.
Yeah, you definitely got some on there that I'm jealous of. That's for sure.
Black
So,
Sabbath is now one of them.
Yeah.
I didn't see him in person. but
I'm jonesing for a little live music. I'm
I
probably see, we're filming this on a Wednesday. It's the 9th of July. Is that correct?
Yep.
2 nights from now, Friday night, I'm probably, weather permitting, I'm going to go check out Sam Bush at the Burl in Lexington. I love an outdoor show, and Sam's just an incredible musician and showman. So that'll be a fun one. Then 2 weeks, well, almost a week and a half now, I'll be at Beck in Cincinnati with the Cincinnati Symphony. That's one I've been really looking forward to. So I'll definitely be wanting to talk about that one in a couple of weeks. But other than that, I don't know that we don't have much music.
I bought tickets today for Picnic with the Pops.
Oh,
That counts.
Cool. What are they? What's their theme
80s.
this year? 80s. Oh, that'll be fun.
Yeah.
That could be fun.
Shannon was jonesing for that. So.
Yeah. So
We're good.
Now, is the Picnic with the Pops? That's the one where you do a table and you decorate your
Tables
table?
are sold out within
so
minutes.
Yeah. So you guys just have tickets then.
We have lawn
Okay,
seats.
yeah.
We're going to be up
Yeah.
on the hill, and I'm good with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
As long as I can hear the music, who cares?
Yeah, that'll be fun. I've
never
done,
been, so
I've done
I'm-
Picnic with the Pops, but it's been years. I mean, years ago. So that's always a good
That's
time.
not
though.
till August.
Yeah,
So
so
I got to find something like you here in the next.
Yeah, there's a
month.
handful of shows here locally happening over the next month that I'm going to keep an eye on and try to snag like last minute tickets to go see some stuff. But for the most part, I just don't have a ton of and like I've got other things going on here that kind of have taken my priority away. So, but you bought some records. This may be a first in that you bought more records in the last week or two than I have, which I haven't bought any in the last week or two.
I was on a dry spell, but I took a couple of side trips, half price?
Half price books.
Yeah. And loaded up on a Styx album, Paradise Theater, because I'm not, I told you I can take or leave Styx, but it's a gatefold.
Cool
and the vinyl was,
artwork.
it's a very cool, and there are 3 big hits on there, Rockin' the Paradise, Best of Times, Too Much Time on My Hands. It's a good album. And then the other one that I bought was Pearl Jam 10.
Yeah, it's a great album.
I didn't have that. And that came out in 81. That was their first album.
Yeah.
And
it's a good one.
Even Flow, Jeremy Alive is on there. It's a great album. It's considered like one of the OGs of the grunge movement.
Yep.
Yeah. And then I took another side trip to Peddler's Mall here in Georgetown and found a George Jones. It's got He Stopped Loving Her Today on it.
I've got that
from
album.
1980.
That's
I
a
found
great album.
I originally told the story that I had a huge vinyl collection when I was in high school, and then I went off to college and sold it because of compact disc. I'm thinking, well, we're never coming back from that. I've always tried to replicate what I had. One of the albums that I didn't have was Triumph, Just a Game.
Yeah.
This one's in great shape. Got it for like $4. And then also I found a Steely Dan that I had not seen in the wild called The Royal Scam from 1976. It's immaculate. It's got Kid Charlemagne on it, and Larry Carlton plays guitar on that, and it is considered one of the 10 best guitar solos of all time. But if you know anything about Steely Dan, they always tried to put together the most perfect album at that point in time.
Sonically, they wanted their albums to be
pure.
Yeah, that's why Asia is
considered
to be possibly the greatest
sonically
recorded, or however you want to put it.
Yeah.
But when you sent me that picture, even though it's not like I've been hunting vinyl forever, but I mean, I'm 4+ years in now to really going at it, and I've never seen that Steely Dan album out in the wild. I was not familiar with that cover at all.
It was $5. Had to have that one.
Can't beat that.
I picked up 2 Herb Alberts, Going
There we
Places
go.
and Standing Room Only.
We may need to get a shot of the Herb Alpert wall, which I haven't changed out in a while. I got 25,
there's
26 albums
24
here.
right there.
Yeah, 24 right
23.
there. Yeah.
Whatever. So that was number 4 for me. So I have 4. I'm catching up with you.
There you go.
And then I told you a guilty pleasure. I picked up Midnight Star. No Parking, because it's got 3 really big hits on it. And the other thing for me is they got their start at Kentucky State University.
Yeah.
Which is only about 10 miles from here.
Yeah, which, here in our little town, Georgetown, we have this festival. Every small town has their festival. And we have here in Georgetown, it's called the Festival of the Horse.
Because we're located in horse country.
Horse country. But I can remember one of the early years of Festival of the Horse. I was maybe middle schooler. It was early to late 80s. No, it couldn't even have been late 80s because I would have been getting ready to graduate high school. It had to be early 80s. One of the first few Festival of the Horse parades, the Kentucky State University Marching Band, back when parades actually had marching bands.
An HBCU.
Yeah, yes, HBCU. So their band, you knew they were going to bring it.
Yeah.
And they came and they played, lasting memory for me is they played Freakazoid.
Which is on that album.
Freakazoid, and there might be somebody watching this who's like, I don't know what the hell this old man's talking about. You need to pull up Freakazoid by them.
It's a great dance song.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
But I just remember seeing a marching band, because there's a lot of songs that marching bands do, and you're like, why in the hell would you want to turn that into a marching band song? But
they're playing homage to a group
like,
that got started at that school.
Yeah, so pretty incredible. Yeah, incredible.
It was
stuff.
$4, so, and it's in great shape.
Can't beat that. I would have, dude. I mean, a few of those, I already had, but I would have probably bit on every other one of them myself at the same price. I would have done the same thing.
I paid as much for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of those albums as I did for the one $20 Pearl Jam.
Yeah,
which was still in the shrink wrap.
Yeah, I mean, and I've got a Billy Strings album, and I've got somebody else on pre-order right now. Drawing a blank who it is, but I've got 2 albums on pre-order that
$50.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Billy Strings was 40 something with shipping.
Oh, damn.
The other one was close to that. I mean, so basically $80 to $100 on 2 albums. It's the new Tyler Childers. That's the other one. I bought the artist exclusive off his website, some sort of splatter vinyl.
Yeah.
I'm a sucker for that. You can send me those emails and I'll be like, oh yeah, I need to get that. So that's what I did. But the Billy Strings is the same way. It was an exclusive. So Steve got all kinds of music for less than what I paid for
$40.
one of these.
It was $36 for all of it.
So, I am going to do a show. I'm going to set up and sell at a show in Louisville in about 2 weeks. So I'm sure I'll make a little bit of money, but then I'll turn around and spend it with one of the other vendors. That's kind of how it works. It's just supporting your own habits.
That's right.
Anyway,
nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. No, I mean, I can't complain. I usually just spend.
Can I just briefly here, pet peeve when it comes to vinyl? If you're selling vinyl records, please don't put a price tag on the frickin' cardboard cover of the album jacket. Please don't do it.
Yeah, if you do, make sure you use like the fancy, high tech 3M peel off things.
Gosh,
yeah, it's very frustrating. Yeah, because
you automatically deface it and the value, drops.
I enjoy the artwork, and so I don't like the cover to be. I have actually bought albums a second or third time because I've found one that has a better cover, and that's just the OCD in me. So
I don't blame you.
All right.
Pet
well,
peeve, sorry.
I think that's it for music. We got a little bit of food here in the Lexington, Kentucky area. This week has been Lexington Burger Week, which is basically, it's like, I likened it to it's the same reason I don't go out on New Year's Eve, because it's like amateur hour. Lexington Burger Week was really cool the first couple of years when nobody knew about it.
Dang, how do you really feel?
Now it's just, I just get frustrated at people who want to complain about the quality of their $7 burger when I'm like, do you realize a Whopper with cheese is $7?
Hit the drive-thru and see how much you pay. Oh, it's $10 at least.
Yeah, I mean, so anyway, I get frustrated because I know how hard these people in the service industries work, and they get just crushed during Burger Week. But my youngest wanted to hit a Burger Week joint, so we did that last night. We went to Drake's over at Hamburg in the Lexington area and had the albeit burger is what they called it. B's for brie, bacon, blueberry bourbon barbecue sauce, and a butter toasted bun. I thought it was pretty solid. My wife wasn't crazy about it, but it was a smash burger, so it was crispy on the edges. I thought it was pretty solid. We'll throw a picture of that.
I got a sneak peek. I think I told you I got a sneak peek of those last week. We did something for the TV station about Burger Week promoting or getting a head start on it. And what is it? The company that owns Drake.
It's BHG.
BHG.
Bluegrass
That's
Hospitality
right.
Group.
They have 6 burgers total.
Yeah, at their various locations. Now you can't choose from all 6 at one location. Right. They've got them spread out.
Drake's has 2.
Drake's has 2. I think Harry's has 2 or 3, and then Malone's has a couple. So you can go to different spots around Lexington, which is kind of a genius marketing on their part. But so we went, and if you're not familiar with their setup, you can go to the Hamburg location. You can order, and in my picture you'll see I accompanied my burger with a sushi roll from their Aqua Sushi, which is their part of all under the same roof. So their food's always solid. I can't complain. But the place was predictably nuts because of the burger week. But there's probably, I don't know, 30 plus restaurants participating in Burger Week. They have to pay some astronomical fee to the company that puts it on, Smiley Pete, which is, good for them.
Yeah.
But it's also, there are a bunch of incredible restaurants in Lexington, independently owned, who don't have the budget to pay $4,000 or $5,000 that it costs to be a part of Burger Week. So I like to go to some of those places in the during this week, just simply because, just out of principle, I guess. Notably, I think it's kind of funny that Sidebar in Lexington during Burger Week, because they basically can't afford to participate, they do Hot Dog Week this week, and they do gourmet hot dogs every day, which is pretty awesome, I think.
And then you and I, we both did Sidebar before we went to see Billy Gibbons.
Yeah, and they've got an incredible.
It's good.
They have incredible burgers, but they're very upfront about the fact that you can't get an incredible burger for $7. Therefore, they don't charge $7 for their burgers, and they don't participate in Burger Week. So I get it. But anyway, that I did eat there. The other good food I had last week, one day for lunch, I hit Big Kahuna Hawaiian Barbecue, which, if you're in the Lexington area and you've not visited one of the two locations of Big Kahuna, one is just off Winchester Road, the other is just off Clays Mill. But it's fantastic. I just can't really describe what they do. I'll put a picture up. I got their katsu, their pork katsu plate, which is basically a flattened pork cutlet that's battered and deep fried, and then they serve it with
heart attack on a plate.
Yeah, they serve it with macaroni salad and a sticky rice with some eel sauce and some other Hawaiian type things. It's a flavor that's unique to Lexington. There's no other place in Lexington that does anything like them. So highly recommend those guys at Big Kahuna. So what about you? Anything good?
No.
Nothing?
No.
Just hanging out?
I've been buying records, man. I can't afford to go out to eat.
I love it. You need to be at least throwing something on the grill and acting like you know, Iron Chef that. I mean, you could do something like that.
Yeah,
Beat Bobby Flay kind of thing. It's been
my daughter
really
cooked for me the other night, so I'm good.
This has been difficult for me because with the disarray that our house is in, because I had really been, outside of drinking some cool beers and listening to some good music, I really have been enjoying cooking. And, when you don't have a totally functioning kitchen in the house, it gets kind of difficult. So we have been, grilling a little bit when it's not been 95 degrees, that kind of thing. But
that's the other issue.
I'm already tired of, I'm tired of eating out, and I know I should be happy that I'm fortunate enough to do that, but I'm sick of it. I want to cook, and hopefully we're going to start moving towards getting me to that point over the next few weeks. So anyway, we are drinking tonight from Ethereal Brewing. We are drinking Pineapple Master Shake. It is a big boy. It's 10%, but it is a fruited imperial sour with pineapple, vanilla bean, and lactose. So you do get that sourness up front from the pineapple juice. Yep. The lactose and the vanilla bean. The lactose especially counters that with a little bit of sweetness. Vanilla bean just works in a lot of different beer styles. I can't really put my finger on why that is, but it works especially well in this one. This is a good one. Ethereal, they don't miss. There aren't many breweries that can say that. Ethereal is one of the best, for sure. I would put their beers up against anybody in the country. And Brandon and those guys over there, they know what they're doing. This one's really, really good. They've got a whole series of Master Shake is what they call them, but various fruits and that kind of thing. But this one's a good one. Highly recommend getting over there and checking that out in the distillery district if you're in the area. But I try to find some things. I know Steve's not a giant IPA fan, so I try to find some stuff that might be agreeable to both of us. I'm going to get him there, though. I'm going to get him to where where he craves the hops and the enamel stripping bitterness of a double IPA.
Are you referring to my dental work?
No, I'm just saying
enamel?
that's the bitterness of these hops. That's always been a thing. Is just how bitter do I want my IPAs to be? I want them to strip the enamel off my teeth.
Yeah.
That's how I want the bitterness to be. And that I realize there aren't too many people outside of beer nerds who want that in their beverage. But yeah, this one's a good one. Highly recommend getting over to the distillery district, checking those guys out. They've always got something good on tap. Various styles and things like that. So anyway, what else? Anything?
I'm going to give a shout out to Dark Arts Distillery, which is in the distillery district.
Oh, yeah.
They are now in the spot where RD1 was.
Yeah.
Right there on the corner on Manchester. Went in there and did something for TV. And then today got a sneak peek at the new Country Boy location.
Oh, the
on
pickleball.
Midland.
The pickleball.
9
yeah.
pickleball courts under roof.
Yeah.
3 golf simulators. And then a full-blown bar.
Yeah.
It's
wife.
very cool. Shout out to those guys.
Yeah.
Pete gave us a tour today, and
yeah,
it was good.
Pete Weiss he's good people. So yeah, my wife said we might need to learn how to play pickleball, and I was like,
Really?
there's Country Boy beer involved. Yeah, sure, we can do that.
Ping pong on a tennis court.
Yeah, I mean, I might
I'm going to make every
tear an
pickleball
ACL or an Achilles or
Right.
something like that. But I don't know how my employer will feel about me missing work because of a pickleball injury. But that, who knows?
If you're a pickleball fan, good for you.
Well, I mean, I know that the Country Boy tap room aspect of the new pickleball place will be pretty cool because they're going to go heavy on barbecue,
Okay.
which their barbecue is top notch. So if nothing else, I'll go watch other people make a fool of themselves while they play pickleball. So,
Yeah,
but it does look pretty cool.
You can watch those previews on KYT.
Yeah, it looks good.
Speaking of, if you would like to see us instead of listen to us, you can catch all this on YouTube.
Right.
Just search
Pharmacist
and
Photog.
Photog.
And I am actually I'm not super technologically savvy, but I am working on a Facebook page for the older people who still use Facebook, like Steve and I.
We do offer a video version here, so you can actually see the beer.
It's kind of fun. I mean,
see the pictures. We talk about posting pictures all the time. That's why, if you want to go to YouTube, just search us out. You'll find it there.
But anyway, yeah.
I think we're finally getting around to understanding what we're doing.
Yeah, and what we want to do anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't have any grandiose ideas about what we're doing here. We're just two guys sitting around shooting the breeze about things
we're not looking
enjoy.
for 1 million followers.
Right.
We're just looking for 10.
We might find some people who like to listen to us ramble on about some things that they
Sabbath.
might like too. So anyway, but yeah, if you happen to stumble onto us somewhere, tell a friend and get them to listen or watch as well. And maybe next time we'll hit on something that you might be more interested in. And once the Facebook page really gets up and rolling, if you want to send us a message and say, hey, why don't you talk about this, or have you thought about this, we'll do that. So anyway, until next time, we're going to finish off this beer, and we'll probably talk a little bit about the local golf and a little bit about the Scottish Open as we lead into the British, and see what else is out there that strikes us.
TBT is next week too.
Yeah. So there'll be some fun local things to talk about. So until then, enjoy it. Get out there, listen to some music, watch some sports, and eat some good food and drink some good beer. And we'll see you next time.